welcome to Should I Buy This Game, featuring Beacon Patrol with the Ships and Shores expansion. My name is Christine, and in this video I'll give you an overview of how the game is played, and then share a few things I may like or dislike about the game to help you decide if you want to add Beacon Patrol, Ships and Shores expansion to your collection. This is the game Beacon Patrol, and this game came out a couple years ago, but last year an expansion called Ships and Shores came out for the game as well. So I'm going to start by just showing you the basics of how to play this game, and then 2 expansions that come with the game, and then the 7 expansions that come with Ships and Shores. Now, they say that this is a cooperative game for 1 to 4 players, but in my opinion, it's a solo game. I don't know why you'd want to play a game like this with other people. Maybe you do. But in my opinion, it is a solo game. And in this game, you are laying tiles. So I started here. This is the home base. And you have to lay tiles that match the edges. And each time you lay a tile, you move your ship. So my ship has moved sort of through the waters. When I got to the dead end, I had to turn around and continue the other way. You have move tokens. You get 4 of these per round, which allows you get to move for free when you place a tile, but if I have to move back here, I can use a move token. When you're playing solo, you have 3 tiles in front of you at a time. So I have these tiles to choose from. So when I'm going here, I'm going to need water and some sort of land on this side, whereas here it is a bit open. So I can maybe play this tile. Now you'll notice there's an A here. That A always has to be in that corner. You can't change the orientation of the tiles. So if I put this tile here, I move my ship. Then I could place this tile down here. And then I have this tile. Now I can't place it here because it doesn't have land on the one side. But I can place it here. And every time you place a tile, you have to be able to move your boat through it. If it blocks, you can't continue. Now, I was able to do that without any extra movement. So I would get myself 3 tiles for the next part of the game. Now I have some tiles that are completely water, which makes it easier to move. But I have this tile here that has land, so maybe I will place that one there and eventually fill this in. Then I can easily place, maybe I want to start moving down and over. So I can go there, and then I can put this one here. Now, if there's ever a time that you have a tile that you can't place, you have the choice you can hold on to one tile, or you can remove it from the game. And later on, as the game goes, you will end up in that position of removing some of the tiles because you just can't place them. I just want to show, because I have this tile now, that from where I am, I could put this one there, and you see it fills all that in, and I can still move here. So that's a good way to start moving across. So maybe I will put this tile here. I can move across, and I can put that tile there. So you can see how I'm now able to fill in some of that area. If I'm able to get a tile later, I can always backtrack. So here, actually, I think I have the tile. This is the tile I need to put there. So I can use one of my move tokens, move back one, and then place this here to fill that in. And that's how you can fill in some of these islands if you work your way around. Now, what you're doing is you're scoring for discovered tiles. And that means that the tile is completely surrounded on top and bottom and across. So right now, the only discovered tiles I have would be this one here. And if it's just empty, it's worth 1 point. This one here, if it has a buoy, it's worth 2 points. This one here with the lighthouse would be worth 3 points. And you would just see, so like this is discovered, this one, here, here. And so you're trying to really fill it in so you can score for the majority of the tiles that you place. And that is the basics of how you would play Beacon Patrol. So as I mentioned, with the game, you get 2 mini expansions. And the first one is the windmills. And what the windmill does, it gets you a point plus a point for any open water that it's beside. So if, say, this tile had been here, it would score 1 point for having the windmill and an additional point for being beside an open water. This one here, it has some land on it, and so they don't count. And diagonally, it doesn't count as well. So it would receive 1 extra point there. Now there's also the piers, which work similarly but with land. So you get 1 point for the pier and 1 point for every landmass it's connected to or diagonally to. Not diagonally, but beside. So if that piece was there, it would get 1 point for that and then 1 point for these 2 land masses. Now, if there had been land on either of these tiles, it would score as well. It doesn't have to be connected. Just the tile beside it needs to have land on it. And those are the 2 different expansions that come with the game. The Ship and Shores expansion comes with 7 new expansion and including 6 new boat little guys. The expansions rate from 1 star to 3 stars, and each of them has some different things. This one again is using the windmill tiles, but it has a special movement rule that every time you place a tile, you may flip 1 movement token back to its blue unused side, and you may use that movement token again during your turn. So this gives you a lot of flexibility with placing tiles and moving around, that you can move a lot of places during a turn. We have the research vessel, and this time we are adding some bank shore tiles. So we have some new tiles to be added into the game. And then once per turn, you may spend a movement token to swap a tile a second time. You don't have to swap both tiles at the same time or with the same players. So that's if you're playing with someone. In the solo mode, you get to keep 2 tiles at the end of the game. So typically you can hold on to 1 if you can't place it, but with this special rule, you can hold on to 2. And then on the back, it shows you how to score it. So I'm not going to go through all of them so you can check them out yourselves, but just so you know that there's like the Coast Guard ship, a hovercraft. The hovercraft actually lets you go overland, because when you're moving your boat, you have to move around the islands typically. If you're here and you want to go there, it's going to cost you 1, 2, 3, 4 movements. Then on your next turn, you can go 1 to get back in line. But with the hovercraft, you'd be able to just go straight across land. So that was sort of a cool one. There's the pilot ship, a ferry, and a submarine. So there's like, if you enjoy playing Beacon Patrol, it does give you a lot more different ways to play the game to add different interests into the base game. Overall, I've enjoyed playing Beacon Patrol. I've played 5 of the 7 expansions from Ships and Shores, and each one just gives you that new little challenge to think about. This game is just what I show you. It is a simple tile laying game. There's a light strategy because you're trying to figure out how to make it around some of these island masses, how to get the points. Sometimes if I'm just building out, I'm realizing so many of my tiles aren't scoring. So I have to figure out a way to tighten the game up to score more points. So there's those sort of challenges to the game. It plays fairly quick. And again, in my opinion, it is a solo game. When you just want to sit quietly, play a little light tile laying game, and move your ship around. The other thing I really like is the fact that the expansion comes in a box this size, the full size, but it's really only a handful of tiles and those ships. So it fits all into one box, and you can get rid of the second box. You only need one box to hold all the components. But if you like these sort of tile laying games and you like to play solo, then I would recommend this game. I think it just gives you that nice challenge. For me, I like to play these games later in the evening just to relax. So let me know if you have played Beacon Patrol and what you think of the game.